This should be echoing in everyone's mind. إن هذا الأمر لا يصلحه إلا رجل ضروس يأكل ويطعم. This contention for leadership of the Muslims is not going to be fixed. There's a competition here, Muawiyah and Ali. This competition is not going to be fixed except by a person who has an appetite. Barus literally means who has a good set of biting teeth. It's going to be a person with a good set of biting teeth, with an appetite, who will devour and who will feed. إن هذا الأمر لا يصلحه إلا رجل ضروس يأكل ويطعم. Is this statement, can you place it in the atmosphere of the Quran or in the climate of the Hadith? Is this how we are going to fix something that is broken inside of our government, inside of our society, to bring someone who has an appetite and who has biting teeth, who will satisfy his own appetite and throw out food for the public? You can't. You can't place these types of statements and these types of behaviors, you can't place them in the environment of the Quran and the Sunnah. Impossible. And lest we have someone who will come and say, but we haven't heard anyone else refer to Muawiyah as a king. We will take you back to that time, to a person who was one of the first to become a Muslim. When he was 17 years old in Mecca, he came to the Prophet and he announced and he proclaimed his submission to Allah and to the Prophet. This person who, when all of these civil conflicts among Muslims began, Al-Jamal, Siffin, Nahrawan, etc., Al-Madain, when all of these began, he was involved. But then he began to see what was happening. He was appointed as the governor, before Uthman's time, he was appointed as the Muslim governor over Al-Kufa. Then during the time of Uthman, he was relieved of his responsibilities. This is Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. And the person who took over his position as governor of Al-Kufa was Walid ibn Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayth. This person now who took Sa'd's place, and Sa'd he was called the maternal uncle of the Prophet, even though he was younger than him, because the Prophet's mother's uncle was his grandfather. He was replaced. There came a time when those who were in Al-Madinah thought that he was not qualified to be the governor of Al-Kufa, and so Al-Walid replaced him by orders from those who were governing during the time of Uthman. Maybe from Uthman himself, maybe from those around him. This area remains undetermined. And this new person now, who is leading the Muslims there, goes to lead Salat al-Fajr. And he prays 4 rak'at. Al-Fajr is 2 rak'at. This governor prays 4 rak'at and he is drunk. Now, I'm not taking this from biased historical sources. This is common historical information that does not circulate. And then after he finishes 4 rak'at, he turns around to the Muslims and he tells them, do you want me to pray extra rak'at? Sa'd is aware of this. This person, when the civil war, as it were, between those on the side of the king-to-be and those on the side of the legitimate imam, he withdrew himself from this. And some people from Muawiyah's side came to him and said, why don't you participate? We'll give you a sword. Just participate in this war. Look, they're looking for legitimacy. And he said to them, if you were to give me a sword and I were to use it, I would wish for this sword to have no blade if it's going to be used against any Muslim. And I would wish that it has 1,000 blades when it is used against the kafirs. So he wasn't involved in this. One time, Sa'd, who, for your information, now that we're speaking, some of you say, we need a little more information about these founding fathers of an Islamic authority. Sa'd was the last muhajir to have died. With him, all the muhajirin that were with the Prophet who went from Mecca and Al-Medina were dead. When he died, he said to his family, go bring me that dress that I have in what we call today the closet. They said, why? He said, because these are the clothes that I wore in Badr. The first encounter, the first major war in Islam against the Kafirs was Badr. He preserved the clothes that he wore during Badr so that he will be wrapped around with these clothes when he goes to his grave. Sa'd was the first person to release an arrow